Well, first of all, welcome to all of you who are here with us in the audience, and the ones that are at home watching us. It's nice to see some familiar faces there as well, and it's a pity that we cannot all sit here together today. Well, my name is Colner, and I am here together with two of my colleagues.
Sofie, Sjögren. I'm the team leader for 4-6 and also for after school care.
And my name is Carina Semiao, and I'm team leader for grades after 3.
And we will today present the project we did during autumn term this school year. And this project has lasted from September until the end of October, so it was a 2 months long project. And before we jump into the project itself, I would like to place us on a world map where our school is located. And we are actually one of 25 Vittra schools in Sweden, so we're not the only school in Stockholm that is Vittra. There are many other schools that are Vittra in Stockholm as well. But we have 200 students and 80 children in the preschool, so we have both preschool and school section. And we belong to the Eco-School Green Flag family since 10 years ago. And in Vittra we work with conscious learning and courageous culture. We want our students to be aware of their own learning, development, as well as what is happening in society around them. And we use different manifestations in our teaching, and one of the manifestations that we use is called in Swedish kvartersmålen and in English community goals. And what we did is in Vittra is that we have sort of converted Agenda 2030 from the global goals. We've converted them into the local community goals. And we have been very active throughout the years with different projects we carried out in our school. And I asked the teachers of my school in June during the last planning days before summer to list the goals that they would like to do work on during this school year. And then they listed out the goals, connected them to the classes and to the curriculum. And as I cannot be really bored during summertime, and I was thinking about how to really be effective in using those Agenda 2030 goals and be proactive in the work, and how we can really in a powerful way reach out towards the students in our school. So I have during the summer decided to let's do something connected to storyline and connect this with the Agenda 2030 with the storyline work. So I was in touch with Jeff from Portland, and I told him about my concerns and questions I had, and that I would really like to get the teachers to get deeper into that. And he said, well, you should try the storyline about superheroes. And I said, well, yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. So what we did is that we connected to the curriculum goals, and I decided to prepare the storyline outline for all of the teachers, because also many of the teachers that at that time have not really experienced storyline yet. So I felt like I need to really guide them, I need to give them a good framework of working to go through the storyline. At the same time that I was aware that I'm risking of not really going through the proper storyline, that I felt, well, they will at least have something to build on, because the long-term plan was that all of the teachers would go through the proper storyline workshop. Can you please tell them to, can you kindly mute your mics, everyone? Because we can do it here, right? You can mute here, yes. Great. So, yes, we connected everything with the work the teachers have planned, and we've decided to go to, well, I came back in August and I said, well, here I am with all the ambitions of you guys to use our storyline. And I, of course, explained why they should use storyline and the whole thinking behind it. They, of course, followed my journey with storyline as well, which is already 14 years old. So I've been using storyline in my teaching all the time when I was working as a teacher. So we decided to connect our work with in every class with Agenda 2030, and I was together with the teachers sitting, and we planned what type of settings they could do in all of the classes. And the main ambition was that we create Sollentuna, which is our municipality, as sustainable as possible. So we would cover all of the parts of Sollentuna in a way that we can sort of present to what suggestions we have for Sollentuna municipality for them to further develop the local community. So what we did is in F class, which are the 6-year-olds, we focused on the forest at our school, and then in grade 1 they focused on life below water. We have a very beautiful lake next to our school, so it was wonderful for them to get closer to that lake. And then in grade 2 they focused on the local grocery store, connected to the recycling and garden to table topic. We also have our own garden in school. And then in grade 3, you have been, Carina, focusing on forest and animal species. Grade 4, sustainable industry, so they were monitoring what type of industry do we have, how can we improve that. Grade 5, they focus on the city and community as a whole. And then grade 6, they were supposed to become an institution that will monitor all of the other institutions in municipality in order to tell them, well, this is what you need to further improve, you need to get better in that. So this was your mission. Mm-hmm. And when we were originally supposed to present that project, we had more time, and now we have less time, which means that we will just focus on some parts of the project. And I will be together with Jeff tomorrow during the last keynote presenting more of this project as well, so I will go deeper in that as well tomorrow. So we started off the project.
Yes, so how to get the whole school, our students involved. One morning, all of the students arrived to their classrooms. There was a letter, and of course they got very excited and curious who the letter were from, and we opened it. So we saw that it was from our principal, Leah, who explained her concern about the climate change, the wildfires, and also the flooding that was really close to us in Sweden here now, the summer 2021. And why do we need to work with sustainability and resilience? So she asked the students to join her, and also together with other teachers, how to make our community, so the commune and not the municipality, more sustainable. So she asked them to become superheroes and get each and everyone could create their own abilities and what they can do to make then Sollentuna commune better, sustainable, and give ideas also to the politicians. So how to get our kids involved? So we started in F class, which is our 6 years old before they start school. F to 3, they were reading this book, Greta and the Giants. And also for 4 to 6, they were looking at the documentary about Greta Thunberg. So why did we choose Greta? Of course, it's a background behind that. It's a schoolgirl from Sweden. Also, all of the kids in Sweden knows about her. Probably most of you guys also know about her. And it was really easy for the kids to relate and also see that age doesn't matter. Everyone can make a difference. So join me, she said. Mm-hmm. So here's where we started.
Exactly. And the next step was to start building the settings. And as you could see from grades F to 6, there were different focus areas. So teachers started brainstorming, okay, if we have the forest, how does our forest look like around our school? And like Leah mentioned, we are very lucky that our school is located with nature around and the lake. So it was very easy for the children to relate and start naming things that they know they are used to see. The same with the ones that had the water. Okay, what kind of lake is this one? What kind of animal species can we find here? And then of course the older ones, the ones that were creating the city, they were also thinking, okay, how does it look our municipality? What kind of industry do we have here? What kind of industry can we have always having in mind we are trying to build a greener municipality. So in these pictures you can see that some students focus on a 2D setting and others just immediately started creating a 3D setting. These are the younger ones, and then the last photo is actually from my class. I was just mentioning earlier today that the idea, when we teachers plan, we were focusing more on animals and Nordic animals, what kind of animals can we find around our school, but the children somehow turned more to thinking about trees. What kind of trees do we have here? And started immediately identifying when they were creating the trees. Oh, this is this type of tree, this is that one. And we just gave them freedom and we went together with them, exploring the forest that turned out a little bit different from what we teachers had in mind in the beginning. The older students, in their greener city, they were trying to think about renewable energy, ways of having different industries that were more related to the environment. After our setting was created, it was time to start thinking about our characters. And our characters for this project were very special. They were not ordinary characters because they were superheroes. And this, I think it was like the key to engage our students. Because they, for me, it was like, okay, let's start with a biography, let's think the name of your character, but they were immediately like, I need a superpower for my character. And in how can the superpower help in the setting? So you have different pictures here. The one in the middle is from the young children, the little ones, F class if I'm not mistaken. So very colorful. And then we have the third one where always in our school nationality and language is very important since we are international school, so that was something that had to be in the biography. But of course, together with that, it was the superpower, like a special power to clean the water in the lake, or a special wind that would collect all the garbage in the forest. So they were very creative with different superpowers. The older ones, like this one, this example here, they went a little bit further. They were the ones who had the industry, and they started thinking, okay, how would we write a CV if one day we would apply for a job? So they went a little bit further with their character, they started thinking about a job title, and yeah, that's this one here. Mm-hmm.
Then we had different incidents that happened in different storylines, different classes. One that was unique for all of them was that I was in touch with the local politicians and local department in Sollentuna that is responsible for the environmental questions in municipality. And I wrote to them and I said, well, here we are, we're working with that work, our kids truly care. And they were fascinated about the work, and they wrote back to me and said, we would love to come to your school, we would love to meet your students and discuss with them the questions they have. So what we did is that all of the classes, then they received a letter from the head of that department, and she described how happy she is about the work that they are doing, and that she would like to come and visit them during the United Nations Day, which we every year celebrate in our school. So the main ambition was that all of the classes would then develop a list of the suggestions for municipality to take with them home after this panel discussion they would have with them, to sort of think of what can they actually do to change Sollentuna for the better. So this was one that was like an umbrella incident that happened throughout the whole, like all of the projects. But then we had different incidents in different classes as well.
Yes, of course. And the first picture you can see here, maybe you recognize the superheroes because it was from F class. They had their setting, of course, in the classroom, but they had a special place in the forest where they went when they were with their characters. And one day they went out to their special place in the forest, and somebody has put a lot of trash over there. And the students, they were so upset about this. And who would do this? Who would do such a thing to our place, to our forest, for our nature. So now they started to discuss, so what can we do to prevent this, and come up with ideas. And they say, well, we can put up signs, we can put up a trash bin. So they started to collect all of the trash and also made a list to hand in to the politicians. For the second part is for the third graders. They arrived one morning and there was a sign from the commune that they were supposed to tear down the forest and build a road. So now the students, of course, once again, really upset. How can they do this? Really engaged to their project and their setting, and needed to make debates, and they made suggestions of why we need to save the forest, why you can build the road somewhere else. For the fifth graders, they created this sustainability, city, and they had only green things here. Everything was with wind power, it was really sustainable thing, but the commune said they needed to take away some money, so they couldn't fund this fund this anymore, and needed to take away some things. And they said it's too few people live here. So now they started to make debate articles on why this is better for the world and in the future, how we can work more sustainability everywhere, and also to get inhabitants to come here. They were supposed to make commercials. So they made a commercial also to show the politicians on the celebration day that we will talk about. For the sixth graders, we invited Greenpeace, which was huge for the kids. They came to our school one day and presented their work, also showing the kids again about the severeness of climate change. And they talked a little bit of what's creating this, and they come up with, well, it's the fossil fuel, and how it's still one of the main resources that we use. So the kids started to write arguments, and they started to discuss how can we prevent the community to use fossil fuel, and also the right to have to advertising fossil fuel. So they started to plan a demonstration for this and go down to the commune and demonstrate outside the politician's house in Sollentuna. And they also created all of their ideas in a folder in document to hand over.
And like I said a little bit before, that the final event was actually the celebration we had for the United Nations Day. And of course, like there are a few weeks in between while we're jumping now in time. So all the classes worked very hard around like their freezers, they were fixing everything. And what we did is that we had sort of portable freezers, so we couldn't just like move them in the main hall because we have two separate buildings. So we've moved them in the main hall, so we're like the whole Sollentuna was then like really united in one like green area. And then we welcomed the lady from the head of that department and the local politician as well that is responsible for he's the chairman of the climate committee in Sollentuna. So we had done two of the representatives of every class. They presented the work they did and like the ideas they had, and then like one of the representatives that was from every class, from F class, which are the 6-year-olds, up to grade 6. They met them, and they could then ask and provoke and discuss questions with them. And we had a very good discussion, and it was also good to hear how certain things with kids think that are so easy to implement and do, because they had different really good suggestions. And for example, one of the suggestions was that they should limit any kind of transportation during the weekends in the city center, that they should just like stop it, you have to travel around the city center. And then how the local politician was not really happy about it, because he didn't feel like that this will actually go through. He of course understood, but it's like there are different interests all the time behind, and we wanted our students to also see that and being part of that, how we in democratic way we need to discuss different interests and find a way to walk together after that. So yes, we had different suggestions, and what we did is that we collected them in one like document, which we then shared with the department and a local politician. And it was wonderful that they actually contacted me afterwards, and they said, you know, we took it up in our meeting we have in department, and we spoke about your project very seriously in our meeting, and they felt that both that other schools in Sollentuna should do the same projects. So they would like to spread the word about what we did, which we found was very wonderful. And also at the same time that they said, we actually will really do something about what your students suggested. So we probably have to contact them soon again and ask where is the plan, make a follow-up. Yes, so as every good storyline and any type of work in school ends up with good review and reflection, we did the same in our storyline work, which my two of the colleagues will share more about.
Yes, I can talk a little bit about this moment, review and reflection. The younger ones, we worked in different ways. We had group discussions, and the teachers helped with some key questions to help them, because it was the first time the entire school did a project like this, and it was for quite many weeks, so it was important to help them to go back a little bit in time and to see how we started and how come we ended up here. So we have some quotes from the little ones. For example, grade 1, if we take care of the earth now, it will be a better place in the future. And we have another one. This project made me think about the beautiful forest we have around the school, and that we need to be superheroes to be able to protect it. Because like Leah mentioned, they realized when they met the politicians, they realized that it's not as easy as they thought. And one final one, we think it made a difference. We think maybe, but we don't really know. And we hope that they do listen to us.
And we also have the one question was the favorite moment, and it was that we became superheroes, that we tested the water, that we went to the ocean and picked up trash, and when we drew the fish. It's also so lovely to see the reflections.
So, from my perspective, leading a school that needs to face all of the future and nowadays challenges, it's of course very important, because I'm very passionate about storyline, that we have it in our teaching. And it's not just that it reaches the students, but in my position it's also important that it reaches the teachers. And I saw it as a way to equip my teachers with a working method and approach that can make them reach out towards the students in a more powerful way. So how storyline approach help our teachers to bring more difficult learning concepts in teaching, such as resilience, sustainability, and climate change closer to the students, is that of course we put learning into practice in storyline, and the content-based teaching makes them really feel and own the whole learning process. Motivation is at its highest level. It was just amazing, like meeting the students during the break time, and they would tell me everything about their working storyline, and then just like all the details, and told me like, Leah, did you know this? What happened? And I really take it very seriously, because I think it's so important they really have things that we can learn from them. So, and thinking that you as a teacher have this motivation on its highest, I mean, think of how powerful it is, what you can actually do with, I mean, all the learning and curriculum goals you have there, you just feed the students with. And of course, the whole visualization of the work, because it helps them really to face and understand more challenging concepts in a different way. Then that teachers and students need to collaborate and plan together. They depend on each other. We can no longer just hide ourselves in our own classrooms and pretend that we rock this, that we can do it, but we need each other. We also in the future we will need and we will depend on each other. And like we've heard before from the keynotes as well, that it's a different role in teaching, that we learn along with the students. We don't just lecture out and then walk out of the classroom. This mutual respect for the work and ideas shared during the project, I think it's very genuine and very important in storyline. Not just in storyline, but it teaches you through storyline that it's really important in all of the work you do. with the students. And last but not least, building bridges. Storyline is definitely connecting beyond the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The ones in the room now that wants to change to another room, you can just sneak out and we will